Translation and purport to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Those who drink through oral reception, fully filled with the nectarian message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life, known as material enjoyment, and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. Purport: the sufferings of human society are due to polluted aim of life, namely lording it over the material resources. The more human society engages in the exploitation of undeveloped material resources for sense gratification, the more it will be entrapped by the illusory material energy of the Lord. Thus, the distress of the world will be intensified instead of diminished. The human necessities of life are fully supplied by the Lord in the shape of food grains, milk, fruit, wood, stone, sugar, silk, jewels, cotton, salt, water, vegetables, etc., in sufficient quantity to feed and care for the human race of the world as well as the living beings on each and every planet within the universe. The supply source is complete and only a little energy by the human being is required to get his necessities into the proper channel. There is no need of machines and tools or huge steel plants for artificially creating comforts of life. Life is never made comfortable by artificial needs, but by plain living and high thinking. The highest perfectional thinking for human society is suggested here by Shukadeva Goswami, namely sufficiently hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. For men in this age of Kali, when they have lost the perfect vision of life, the Srimad Bhagavatam is a torchlight by which to see the real path. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada has commented on the Kathamritam mentioned in this verse and has indicated Srimad Bhagavatam to be the nectarian message of the personality of Godhead. By sufficient hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, the polluted aim of life, namely lording it over matter, will subside. And the people in general in all parts of the world will be able to live a peaceful life of knowledge and bliss. For a pure devotee of the Lord, any topics in relation with his name, fame, quality, entourage, etc. are all pleasing. And because such topics have been approved by great devotees like Narada, Hanuman, Nanda Maharaja, and other inhabitants of Vrindavana, certainly such messages are transcendental and pleasing to the heart and soul. And by the constant hearing of the messages of the Bhagavad Gita and later of Srimad Bhagavatam, one is assured herein by Srila Shukadeva Goswami that he will reach the personality of Godhead and render him transcendental loving service in the spiritual planet of the name Goloka Vrindavana, which resembles a huge lotus flower. Thus, by the process of Bhakti Yoga directly accepted as suggested in this verse, by sufficient hearing of the transcendental message of the Lord, the material contamination is directly eliminated without one's attempting to contemplate the impersonal Virat conception of the Lord. And by practicing Bhakti Yoga, if the performer is not purified from the material contamination, he must be a pseudo-devotee. For such an impostor, there is no remedy for being freed from material entanglement. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purport of the second canto, second chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Lord in the Heart. Om Tat Sat, Om Jnana, Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam, Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishram Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nidvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. पिबन्ति ये भागवत आत्मनः सतां कथामृतं श्रवणपुतेषु संभृतं पुनन्ति ते विषय विदूषिताशयं व्रजन्ति तच्चरणसरोरुहान्तिकम्. Those who drink through oral reception, fully filled with the nectarian message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. So, Hare Krishna. This is about hearing, and particularly about hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. How to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, all this, there's a lot of mention in the Padma Purana, and you must have already heard about these things. It says here, drinking through oral reception. You have to learn to drink through oral reception. What does that mean? Sometimes we don't drink, we hear superficially. We read a newspaper quickly for the headlines. What's the latest news? That is not pibanti. It is not drinking. It is a cursory reading, an overview. Then sometimes we read because it's necessary for us to have the content with us. It may be business, then I have to read. If it may be a court case, I have to read very deeply. We read content for that purpose, for the sake of doing it. Then we actually read for the sake of actually changing ourselves. We read hungrily because we are suffering from something and we need a solution, we need help. We read. Then beyond that, there is reading for pleasure. That is pibanti, drinking through the years, because it is so good and I want to read and enjoy, drinking through the years. That is pibanti. In this way, there are various levels of reading. But drinking is very high level. So Bhagavatam also is read by all of us. Sometimes we read as a sadhana. Because I've been told to read, I read every day, 15 minutes, open the book, read. Very good, nice, and close and keep it. As a sadhana, we read. So here it is mentioned pibanti, oral reception. What Parikshit Maharaj is doing is pibanti. He is drinking it through the years. He's drinking it through the years. This verse comes repeated in many different places in different shapes and forms. And Shukadeva Goswami also is mentioning you must be an animal if you don't take advantage of the human form of life. Pashughna. If you don't take advantage of the human form of life and read Bhagavatam and hear about Krishna. So you will find many such shlokas throughout. So we are trying to understand what it means to say oral reception. Very sophisticated words used. Reception means receiving it. Orally receiving Krishna. Receiving Krishna through the years. That's why these sophisticated words are used. Bhagavatam's content is not different from Krishna. Bhagavatam and Krishna are non-different. So we cannot say, I read the Bhagavatam. Actually, it's not considered to be very cultured. You should actually say, I associated with the Bhagavatam. I was allowed to associate with the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam's mercy, Krishna's mercy. This is sophisticated language of those people who understand the value of Bhagavatam. That's why Prabhupada has written here, those who drink through oral reception. Simply see the way the words are used by Prabhupada. Means you're receiving Krishna through the ears. You know why we are called ISKCON, our society?
Yeah,
There's
thinking,
one
feeling,
devoted.
willing. Thinking, feeling, willing of Krishna.
Thinking, feeling, willing of Krishna. There's another devotee explained in one of our meetings, very funny. इस्कॉन माने इस कान से सुनकर इस कान से बाहर निकालने गए. You hear it from one ears and take it out through the other ears. That is one type of hearing. I'll tell you this story. This is a story of a great, powerful Rakshasa, man-eating cannibal demon who suddenly comes to this great court of Vikramaditya. And so huge, and with all heads of animals whom he has killed and eaten hanging on his this thing. And he's got a bunch of skulls in his hand, right? And he throws that across the floor to the king. And it hits near his asana and falls down. King, you know who I am. I eat human beings, and especially kings. I've come here to ask you a question. If you don't answer that question to me, I'll eat you up and eat all of you together. Of course, Vikramaditya is not really very bothered. You can fight him. He threw these skulls and he said, find out which is the best skull and tell me how you do it. And tell me how you do it. He threw this like this, and I'll come tomorrow in 24 hours. Same time I'll come. He asked this question and he was not able to answer. So he said, I give you 24 hours to answer this question. He left. And the king became very, what type of a challenge is this? One thing is you'll be eaten up, killed, that's okay. But if I'm not able to answer this question, that is even greater insult. So he asked his ministers, you have any this thing? Others now looked, I don't think I can answer this question. But his most important minister was not saying anything, he was just looking at the king. And then he looked at him and said, 24 hours tomorrow. You do it. So this important minister was disappeared that whole day. Well, next morning, all of them assembled again early to discuss this. So the others said did not anything much to contribute. They were saying this must be, that, something like that. The king said, this is not the way to answer the question. By the time this Rakshasa came, in between as we were discussing, and he said, oh king, the time is up. Have you worked it out? So the king actually did not know, he was depending on his minister. So the only minister was that brainy minister who had not yet said anything. So he looked at him. That minister stepped out and came and faced the Rakshasa and told, this skull is the best, and gave it to him. And the Rakshasa looked very surprised. And he turned around, took the skulls and left. And the king was very bewildered. And the others were, what did you do? What is the answer? So, my dear king, this happens to you in everyday life, to you. He said that you give me instructions and I try to carry them out for you. And you have faith in me. He said, yes. So I'm looking forward to the answer from you. But you give instructions, it falls on other people's ears. Some instructions go from this side to this side. from one ear to the other. And some instructions go right up to within the head. Some instructions go to the heart. In that skull, I have put a stick and seen the skull, it will not go to the heart, is rejected. The only skull that the stick will go right up inside to the heart. That is a skull. I said, this is a skull. It's the best. And he has understood and he has left. Why? Because those instructions go to the heart. And I carry them out feelingly. Then your message has actually been properly received. But all these other people who receive your messages in these different ways, they don't actually benefit you. In this way, the king became very thrilled. You mean to say this Rakshasa came to ask this only? He said yes. He said yes. In the same way, here pibanti means taking it to the heart. The instructions of Krishna, taking it to the heart. And how do we read in such a way that we can take it to the heart? The Padma Purana speaks about different types of reception in form of birds. How do we receive it? So that's why, according to the level of your interest, according to how you have understood the goal of your life, you will receive oral reception. That's why Prabhupada is saying, how will you receive this message? So it's mentioned here, those who drink it through oral reception. Means it'll go very happily. Pibanti rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. That is the best of the devotees who drinks it with rasa, with great feeling, taste, and drinks Krishna's pastime with taste. So that's why in our chanting Hare Krishna also it's like that. How do we chant? According to how you chant, you'll also receive Bhagavatam like that. How you chant, you hear nicely, you deeply relate with the Nama Purusha, and you feelingly chant the holy name. Amanina manidena kirtaniya sadahari. In a very humble state of mind, thinking of Krishna, if you actually chant the holy name, you get the experience of Krishna. You get the experience of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam was also Krishna only. But who speaks the Bhagavatam is important, and who is hearing the Bhagavatam is important. How he is hearing. All these are variables for this thing to happen. So, Shushushubis takshanat, it mentions. That moment, as you hear in your service, it will take effect. It will take effect. Takshana, that moment, it will happen to you. That's why in the Bhagavatam, in the Padma Purana, there's a description of Dundukari and Gokarna, that famous story. In that, when Dundukari goes back to Godhead, assuming 400 form in the vehicle, others will say that we also heard the Bhagavatam. And Gokarna will say, you did not hear it the way Dundukari heard it. He was desperate. He was very desperate and hearing fully my brother's instruction. I'm desperate. I'm in a Brahma Rakshasa ghost form. And I want to get liberated from that. I'm highly troubled. So he heard it fully. So Shubhi's full in desperation is hearing. So he absorbed it very fully. There is one way of hearing. When you're in a distressful situation, you're hearing about Krishna, you may hear carefully. In a situation where you're fully in love with Krishna, you'll hear it wonderfully. But when in between these things, when you're, I mean, not between, but when you're not actually very much, you're materially comfortable, then you will most probably hear and while hearing go to sleep. Arey, I'm pretty comfortable. I'm okay placed. If necessary, I'll sleep. I'll allow myself to sleep. Prabhupada saw in the Bhagavatam class that they were sleeping, and he looked from his specs like this, and he said, very unfortunate. He said, he said, very unfortunate. I'm sitting here speaking Bhagavatam for you and you're sleeping. It's very unfortunate. Means I cannot do anything more than this for you. All the fortune that I'm bringing to you, you are not able to receive it at all. Forget oral reception and all that. It's not even going through the ears. It's just, you're sleeping. You're sleeping. It may be due to many reasons. Oh, I did not sleep yesterday. I mean, I had this thing and all. You may have your own excuses. But the fact is, you're not receiving it. It's not going through. So this is important for us to respect the Bhagavatam with proper reception. Just like you say, chanting, you should chant and never be inattentive because it's Krishna. Because it's Krishna. Right? So, Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka Nigamakalpattaror Galitam Phalam. So when a high-class product is given to you, you must know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, you will not get the full benefit from it. Right? If you're given, you're buying it, there's a huge fridge here, I can see. It's a nice equipment. It keeps all your food safe from bacteria and other things. It preserves it for you and you use it in many different ways. But you can misuse it. You can misuse it as much as you can misuse the chair, the table, everything that's there here that I see around. If you don't use it properly, then you don't get the full benefit of that particular product. It's a very, very raw, example. But similarly, Bhagavatam is given to us. Puranarko adunodita hai. Krishne swadamo pagate dharmagyanadibihi sa. Kalau nashtadrisham esham puranarko adunodita hai. Prabhupada is mentioning about that in the purport. That Krishna left, but he replaced himself with the Bhagavatam. Purana Arka means sun. The sun of the Bhagavatam has risen up. Don't think that Krishna is not here. Krishna is there in the form of the Bhagavatam. Right? He's there in the form of the Bhagavatam. So we should receive the Bhagavatam nicely, especially in oral reception. That's why physically also we respect the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is worshipable, handled very carefully, even physically. You know it's Krishna himself. And all these acts, culturally, physically, mentally, intellectually, and spiritually, how we approach the Bhagavatam is very important. And accordingly, you will get benefit. Because Bhagavatam is Krishna. And a pure devotee like Prabhupada is called Bhagavata. Because he is non-different from the instructions given in the Bhagavatam. He's a living, moving, walking, willing, feeling, feeling, conscious Bhagavata. And by his association, one will actually become Krishna conscious. So there is a person, Bhagavatam, Prabhupada explained, and there is a book, Bhagavatam. Both are synonymous with Krishna. Both are synonymous with Krishna. And you should receive them with great respect. That is why it says, those who drink through oral reception. Right? That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said the importance of the Bhagavatam. He said, if all the literature in this world is collected in a huge bonfire, only Bhagavatam is preserved and it is all burnt. Only Bhagavatam is there. There is absolutely no loss in this world because Bhagavatam contains everything. Bhagavatam has everything. It is why it's called ripened fruit. And it is filled with the nectarian message of Krishna's pastimes. And this is the only way, the easiest way to purify ourselves. Initially, sometimes people go through a mechanical process of reading the Bhagavatam. I normally tell devotees, simply read Bhagavatam because you must read Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Don't worry about do no oral reception. I am not able to do that and therefore I am not reading. Just read. Because the instruction is you must read. So you just read. Keep reading and reading and reading. Gradually, at one point of time, you will see that you have developed a taste. And if one day you don't read, you will feel very odd. And you feel like going and reading the Bhagavatam, which means you're slowly getting attracted to the Bhagavatam. I remember I was working as an engineer design and I discovered the Bhagavatam. I used to rush home, take bath, and just go and read the Bhagavatam. First thing I'll do, not even eat anything. And my brother or mother will come and say, why don't you come and eat? No, 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 I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. So sometimes he'll come and bring the plate and give it there. And they say, what is this here? I mean, what is so this thing? I can't explain to them. I just look at them and say, you cannot understand. I want to read the Bhagavatam before I have to go to sleep. It's so exciting. All these stories of Krishna. And the time I knew that I like the Bhagavatam very much. I'm coming all the way. I wish I had the whole day, is what I was thinking. If I had the whole day, I will sit and read. So whenever I have a holiday, I'll just finish my japa chant and all that and say, forget all of you. I just simply sit and read Bhagavatam, undisturbed. And those were my best moments. Of course, after I joined the movement, it became very less. So many managerial organization things to do, everything. But still, I'll always read and use the technology and read it on Kindle, read it on the phone, wherever I would read. I'm just giving you a small version of myself. But there are so many devotees who just read and do nothing else but whole day read Bhagavatam, chant the shlokas, repeat this thing, and give a class. And they're so much in love with the Bhagavatam. Say, this alone is enough for me. I don't need anything else. I don't need anything else. Because they've all got that taste, ruchi. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuroho Raska Bhuvi Bhavuka. So if we are in that position, then we are saved. If you've fallen in love with the Bhagavatam, you are saved. You keep reading it and keep getting all sorts of realizations from it. And your life is secured. Your life is secured. This is a great, wonderful opportunity that Prabhupada has given to everybody in the world. I think we are translated now in more than 50 and odd languages, the Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada was a Bhagavad Sevaka. In 2015, the 50th anniversary of the Jaladutas coming to Cochin in Kerala, we celebrated. We celebrated there 1965, August 21st and 22nd, the Jaladuta came to Cochin. Came from Calcutta to, I think, Sri Lanka and some other places like that, and came to Cochin. And we had decided as Sankalpa in the BBT that we should offer the Malayalam Bhagavatam set to Prabhupada on the same day. And why? Because when Prabhupada was there in Cochin, he received the Bhagavatam volumes from Bombay, that Canto 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 and all that. And 200 sets of that was loaded in the Jaladuta from Cochin. Right? So we thought that Prabhupada, was very happy to receive that and load on the Jaladuta and take it to America. He didn't go alone. And somebody asked him, Swamiji, you're going to America? He quickly replied instantly, I am not going to America. Bhagavatam is going to America, I am accompanying. Can you imagine what a reply he gave? Instantly he gave that reply. I am not going to America. Bhagavatam is going, I am accompanying. This is very prophetic. And then later, this I heard very long back, we were very thrilled and all that. And then we offered the Bhagavatam set 2015, August 21st, 22nd, we offered. It was raining heavily, I remember, and devotees came from different parts of Kerala in a hall in Cochin. But everybody came. Then we had prepared a sankalpa, a nice sheet, offering it to Prabhupada. This is very emotionally written by all the BBT devotees who worked in the translation, proofreading, checking, pre-press, printing, warehousing, storing, everything. Came hot from the press in the morning. And in the evening, we all read out this offering to Prabhupada. And some devotees cried, actually. They were feeling how Prabhupada took the Bhagavatam from Cochin and conquered the whole world with Bhagavatam, the philosophy of Bhagavad Dharma. And we are able to offer it 50 years later. 50 years later. I am also very emotionally involved in that because I took up the printing. Nobody asked me to. There were no books and we were preaching, and I said, we must do this. And I was been printing for a very long time, 30 years printing all. We have completed almost all the books of Prabhupada. Recently, a few years back, we released the Chaitanya Charitamrita in Malayalam language. So I was always thinking about this. And I know that when we wanted to print the Bhagavatam, we didn't have enough money. And I prayed to Prabhupada very intensely. I want to offer this during the 50th year. To you, it's a Sankalpa. We've been working on it for the past 5-6 years. We're all working 24 hours almost. So many devotees, day in and day out. And please make it happen. And then amazingly, I remember 2 days later, when I got up in the morning, I got a brilliant idea. I said, in Kerala is very famous to do pre-publication, that you publicize before you print and take orders. So I said, that's what you should do. And I went on a trip to the Gulf and other temples in Gesna. I said, in advance, you take the set. Bhagavatam is going to come out now. It's going to get printed. So I sold 1,200 Bhagavatam sets, even before it was printed. And I was extremely surprised. This is happening. It's actually happening. I estimated the cost, it was very cheap then. And somebody came and told me, why are you selling the Bhagavatam so cheap? You should, this thing, and all that. It was true. I shouldn't have sold it so cheap. But then I changed the scheme within the next 2 months because a lot of people were booking up. It was very cheap. Then I changed the scheme and still people were booking. Bhagavatam in Malayalam, Prabhupada's, I want one set. I want to give it to my grandmother. I want to give. So much. And I was so thrilled that I used that money with the remaining money I had. And I was thinking that this is really Prabhupada doing it. Krishna wants it to happen. That's why when the devotees arrived there, they were thinking it should happen. And when it was offered, everybody was very happy. Why did Prabhupada say this? Afterwards, I understood. At that time, didn't have time. So after it was released, I was thinking I should read about this. And I read in the Padma Purana the conversation between Bhakti and Narada Muni, where she's telling that in Kali Yuga, Videsham Gamyate, I will leave India and go to foreign lands. When I read that, I thought, this is what Prabhupada is saying. This is exactly happening. In Kali Yuga, I will leave India and go to foreign lands. And the person who did it is Prabhupada. He took Bhakti to foreign lands. And he was quoting that. Bhagavatam is going. The time has come for Bhagavatam to go, and I'm going with Bhagavatam. So how he nicely fit into the prediction, the prophecy. He didn't think, I am a great person, I am going. He said, no, I am supposed to accompany the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is going. And actually, it's very historical if you look at it in terms of the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada's visit to the Western world. It was inside that Jaladuta, rocking like this choppy, and Prabhupada got heart attack and everything there. But the most valuable commodity in Jaladuta was the Bhagavatam and this Bhagavata called Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Two Bhagavatams were traveling in Jaladuta. It's Krishna's plan. It's Krishna's plan. It reached the shores of America. After that, it took over the whole world. And people are reading Bhagavatam in all sorts of languages and knowing Krishna. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka is happening. So, in that experience, I could actually see I'm a part of this experience. I'm actually trying my best to do what Prabhupada said. I want this printed. And then another thing happened is I met with one devotee, Dina Dhyatmadas, Prabhupada's disciple from Kerala. I said, oh, really? There's a disciple from Kerala, Prabhupada disciple. I met him in Guruvayur temple once. I was eating in the queue, they give prasadam. I can't cook. So you have to sit in the queue and you have to eat the prasadam. They'll mass distribution. I was eating and I found opposite another person with the kantimala, but he kept on looking at me. And then I kept looking at him and then he waved his hand out to me. And then after eating, we met. Then he said, I spoke to him and all that. I thought that I don't know who he is, didn't bother to ask. Then I said, I am Dina Atmadas, I'm Prabhupada's disciple. And I, oh, Prabhu, and I paid obeisances. Then he said, no, no, it's okay. And then I said, I'm printing. Then he became very interested. And he told me, I'm so happy to meet you in Guruvayur temple. I'll tell you something. Come sit down. He made me sit down. And he said that I was in Germany. And Prabhupada told me, when I told him I'm from Kerala, he told Kerala people are very intelligent people. You must translate the Bhagavad Gita for me in Malayalam. He personally told me. And then I would try to do it because my guru has told. And then I sent the manuscripts to his assistants. And I wrote to Prabhupada that I've sent the Malayalam translators to be checked. I've done preliminary something and I've checked. And Prabhupada said, where is it? He was very happy. Where is it? And I gave it to you, this thing. And then they found out they had misplaced it somewhere and traveled and left it somewhere. What is this? This thing, they left it and they went. And Prabhupada became furious. And then he asked to do again. But he said, I was not able to do after that. And things changed. But he said, I saw the Bhagavad Gita in Malayalam and became very pleased. And then he contributed some money. He said, the small book also you can print something. And then when I went to London, I visited him again. He showed me, see this Prabhupada's letters. I am not surrendering this to the archives. I am keeping it for myself. He showed a series of letters, Prabhupada saying that translate in Malayalam. Do this, print. And so he said, I'm very happy to see you have done it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have passed away from this world properly. So I was very happy to see that Prabhupada wanted this and I'm just doing it. And it's not that because I am doing it. It's because Prabhupada wanted it and it's happening and I'm willing to do it. So I could feel that there is a plan and I'm part of it. So the Bhagavatam is alive. You take part in the Bhagavatam, it's like, I felt for that moment that something is happening here and I've taken part in it. It's Prabhupada's plan. And all the devotees, we discussed it and they all felt very excited. The Bhagavatam is alive. That's why I'm saying, when you read open, you can see it coming alive. The way Prabhupada explains it through his purports. That is the meaning of saying that means you're drinking with oral reception. You can taste it, you can feel happy about it. It's not just happiness, some deep internal good feeling. You don't know what it is, but a good feeling. Silently, you sit down and you completely dedicate yourself to reading the Bhagavatam with no other distractions. You can experience that. So that's what I said. Oral reception of Krishna Krishna and Bhagavatam are non-different. You can meet with Krishna in the Bhagavatam because of Prabhupada's mercy. He'll introduce you to Krishna. That happens when you open and read the Bhagavatam. This is what is the experience of many devotees who fall in love with the Bhagavatam. You can see Sanatana Goswami saying, my bandhu, my dear friend Bhagavatam, my everything, my life. And you can see his sloka. I forget that, I used to know it by heart, but you're my only friend, you're everything for me. It's very strange that you see Bhagavatam as a personality and have a relationship and call him a friend, because the Bhagavatam is giving you an experience. It's giving an experience. That is why when Shukadeva Goswami is speaking the Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva is sitting. You can see that in the cover. Vyasadeva is sitting, it seems, and Vyasadeva's father also was sitting, Parashara Muni. And Narada Muni is also sitting. And Shukadeva Goswami is speaking. It's not an ordinary thing that Vyasadeva is sitting. I told and gave him Bhagavatam. He left from home without even looking at me. Then Bhagavatam attracted him back to home. And then I speak the Bhagavatam. And now I'm so happy to hear it from his mouth. It doesn't matter. Why? What I taught to him is coming out with rasa now out of his mouth. Sukha mukhat amrita dravasam yutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So rasika bhaktas, they become very absorbed in this and they give reception to it in the right manner. So we can advance in our hearing of the Bhagavatam. We can advance in our reading of the Bhagavatam. Right? This is not an ordinary subject matter actually. What Prabhupada has done to the whole world, nobody can match it. The seva he has done for a conditioned soul in this world by introducing the Bhagavatam in all the languages and taking so much pains to do it because he knows it's required. He gave the gift without asking anything in return. All he told us is, please read it and distribute it. At least that much we must do. We must read every day the Bhagavatam. We must discuss it. We must relish it. And then all this material enjoyment will stop. Vidyate hridaya grantis chidyate sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishware. It is proof. It will happen to you, it is mentioned. And so we should not doubt that. So Bhagavatam is a great resource. We can go on speaking about the glories of the Bhagavatam. Jiva Goswami has written amazing things about the Bhagavatam in his Bhagavad Sandarbha. In this way, great devotees are glorified. And it is so amazing the work of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada that he contributed the Bhagavatam. And he was so much wanting to finish it. He was, so much feeling. Somehow it was done. It's being distributed. And we should take it very seriously and hear the Bhagavatam. Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. What's the time? Sorry.
8:53.
Yeah.
Questions? Hare Krishna,
Questions? No
anyone has
questions.
questions?
No questions. Everybody is happy. Everybody is happy.
I think they have questions. Let's see. Anyone has questions? You can unmute and ask, or otherwise raise your hand. Wow. No questions. Huh?
I told you they don't have questions. Today is a Sunday.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj.
Go ahead.
Prabhu, my question was that, I'm very new to this, progressing in spiritual life and bhakti. So, what is your advice in terms of how can I develop taste in reading Srimad Bhagavatam or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam?
Since you said you're very new and you like to know, I can give you briefly some information, but I think you should talk to the people who are here present. I'm just a fly-by-night visitor here. But the question that you've asked will be best answered by those who are senior devotees who are here. But however, your question, simply buy a set of the Bhagavatam and start reading it. One prerequisite would be that you should have some preliminary information or understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. And it'll be nice if you read the Bhagavad Gita, because it requires that you have understanding of the basic tenets and concepts mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita before you read the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam takes off where the Bhagavad Gita finishes, Prabhupada said. So it may be useful for that. So these are two simple things that I'd like to tell you. But a little more information can be given by your seniors. Okay? Right. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I had a question.
Go ahead.
Yes. My question was that, sometimes I think my struggle is that by the time, I'm done with my 16 rounds in the morning, and then when I return from work in the evening, like I'm mentally exhausted, but my focus is not there. And what I'm wondering is, does it ever make sense that sometimes in the morning when I'm chanting, my chanting is mechanical? So does it make sense ever to prioritize maybe reading the Srimad Bhagavatam in the mornings and maybe leaving the chanting for when you're more tired at night? Because anyways, that becomes a little bit more mechanical for some of us.
Well, these are all practical problems. Our modern world and our civilization, our lifestyle, our economy, the way it is shaped, takes away a lot from us. The modern economy, lifestyle, everything is about taking. There's nothing about giving. The Bhagavatam is about giving. So you have to be in a little bit of a giving mentality to be able to enjoy the Bhagavatam. You're in a world where everybody wants to exploit you. You're a human resource, and everybody expects some things from you. And therefore, you're kept very busy. But that's why in the purport, you see this Prabhupada speaking about simple living, high thinking. How human society should design life in such a way that they can sit and read the Bhagavatam. What is the meaning of saying, I don't have time to read Bhagavatam? Sounds very strange to people who know progressive values in life. You can't say, I don't have time to attend to myself. Then you're on a disastrous path, is what people will say. But unfortunately, that's the way the world is designed. That's the way people are aligned by the leaders of the society. So Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that how Krishna has already designed a lifestyle for you, which is very simple, because most of the things he has already provided. You don't have to artificially go and try to provide for yourself. Prabhupada calls it foolishness. To very nicely merge with Krishna's arrangement, evam pravartitam chakram nanuvarta iha aghayur indriya ramo moham parthasa jivati. Krishna explains the chakra, the cycle of his setup, how with the demigods and yourself and sacrifices, you will get everything that's necessary for your material life. More than enough, you live a prosperous, healthy life, and you'll have plenty of time for doing these things. So your question is really a problem about the type of living and lifestyle and the stressful type of lifestyle that we have. Having said that, we still need to do this. One thing you can do is how can I change my lifestyle? How can I make my expectations and ambitions simpler? How to live a minimalist life?
Right. I think one problem, Maharaj, is that I have a 1 hour drive to work and back and forth, right? So 2 hours are gone into that. And then you add the 8 hours that are in the office. So 10 hours go there, right? So with that, it becomes a little bit difficult to but you're right. If there's a will, there is a way. But at this point where I am in my spirituality, I think, I'm having a little bit of trouble
So then you put on, we have now digitized versions of the reading of the Bhagavatam. When you drive up, you put it on and you can hear it. You can hear Prabhupada's lectures on various slokas of the Bhagavatam. You can hear it. And that will be the next best thing you could do. And when you get time on the weekends, you can sit and, binge on the Bhagavatam. You can sit and read and eat it and smack it and slurp it and lick it and taste it, and like it's mentioned here, drink it. You can do that. And very soon Krishna will make an arrangement for you because of your interest in the Bhagavatam, so that you may get more time. I know that also happens to people. Okay?
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Right. Anybody else?
Yeah.
I'm seeing some hands up here.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam, all Krishna Prabhupada. So very nice
Who is you?
classes. This is
I'm
Prem
from
Sarovar Radha. I think Hemajana
Pardon?
Prabhu already Prem Sarovar Radha.
Because here I can't see your face. I can only see your hands, by the way.
on the right side.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah,
Maharaj.
yeah. Okay. So you're the one asking the question. Prema Sarva Radha.
Yes, I think my Prabhu Hemajana Prabhu, I think he was in touch with you.
Oh, okay.
And-
Hey, Jagannath.
Yes. So sorry Maharaj, my phone has some issues, so it's not
Don't worry.
working. Yeah.
I can hear you.
Maharaj, nice classes. Last 4 days we have been hearing you, so it's our good fortune to have your association. So I just wanted to ask some quick thing. Already you have answered few questions regarding that. So I say that whenever wonderful preachers like you or some senior Prabhupada disciples or nice good preachers come to our temple, like we attend those seminars and classes, so immediately the ruchi for Bhagavatam increases. And after a few days, we don't hear them. Though we read it, sometimes it becomes, yes, I have to read Bhagavat, we read. So how to retain that taste? And is it equivalent that we hear sequentially Bhagavatam, or we have to read it? As you already mentioned, the digitalized version is there. So that I just wanted to, get some information on that.
See, when you take a meal, you are Bengali or Orient?
Oriya.
Oriya. So when you take a meal, at least in you eat Jagannath Prasadam, you have bitter, shukta, you have neutral, you have salty, you have sour, you have all sorts of things on your plate, and then the sweet. So kids will like to eat only the sweet first, and they'll ask more for the sweet only, and it is not given to them. Your meal in life consists of many things. And the sweet portion is the time when you get to read the Bhagavatam. And you get an experience, like you said, wow, very nice experience. So your situation is such that only a small portion of the sweet is served to you on your plate. Your life is like that. There are bitter things, there are sour things, there are neutral things, salty things, all that. All those experiences also there in your material life. And you have only very less sweet. Limited. Some devotee comes and then you're telling, oh, I feel very good when they come. But life is such that sometimes you cannot indulge in the sweet for too long. That's the way the material life is. What to do? So what we do in that case is that we try our best to follow the instructions that we received from these type of sweet experiences. Narada Muni followed that. When the Bhakti Vedantas came to his house briefly, he was subjected to the Bhagavatam, not because he asked for it. It just out of their mercy. He was subjected to the Bhagavatam and the content of it and the discussions of Krishna, and he was amazed. And then he did some seva to them by taking their remnants. And then afterwards, he was blessed to actually put himself in a situation where he can do nothing else but this. That's a special blessing, special mercy. Why? His mother passed away and he was alone. And all he knew was the Bhakti Vedanta's instructions. So he just followed that. He just followed that. So it's not always that our life is like that. I told you in the plate, there are many other things also. It's not only the sweet instructions like Narada Muni got, but you can await that, and you can, within what time you have, do your best seva to Bhagavatam. And then seeing your condition, like Krishna will always expand and broaden your experience. First, with the available time and available energy and available focus, do your best experience of indulging in the Bhagavatam. Then when you become qualified for more, Krishna will give it. He will make the situation like that. That's what I like to say. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Next.
Satyabhama Mataji and Taruni Ratna, make it quick, as we are already 9:05.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your association. Like since Friday we met in person, and then today also very nicely. And yeah, so the effect of Sadhu Sangha I wanted to share. Like every Sunday we have so many classes every day. I'm asking my Prabhuji, please listen, sit. And today, see, because of your association yesterday, he came down and he's sitting and listening attentively. So thank you so much for that, and I hope he will continue that. And I just wanted to share about Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is really amazing. What you said, Pibanti, and you explained so nicely, like about Pibanti. I was thinking, why we are in America? Like, what is the use, like staying here? But Srila Prabhupada's vision is like this. We are here, and because of that, see, we were in India, in Mumbai, but I never had been to like ISKCON temple. But after coming here, we have more value for our culture, everything. We wanted to give our kids, and now we are joined because of our dear Srila Prabhupada. We got Srimad Bhagavatam, and we can't live. Now we can't survive without Bhagavatam. Even we can't sleep also without listening or reading. So thank you so much, Maharaj, for the association and for whole congregation. Like what we are doing, really amazing. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Taruni Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Just hearing you, it is like so heart touching. I just wanted to express my gratitude to you for just explaining how beautifully the journey of bringing the Malayalam Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita in reality today. So really, really grateful to you, Maharaj. And it's very, very difficult to make. I've heard you say before, very difficult to make a Malayali as a devotee of Krishna, because
Are you
that's
one?
no. I'm from Karnataka actually. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Karnataka.
when I had heard you many years ago, this was like, I think 9 years ago, you had come to CNJ, and then you had given a class in one home program, and then that's where you had explained. It was beautiful. Some of the things that you said, it's still there with me. And today, just hearing from you, it's just very much touching. So extremely grateful to you, Maharaj.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay. I saw the Govardhan hill that you have made in the front of the temple. And I asked who has made it. And they told me your name. But now I've got the opportunity to converse with you, at least, and hear you. Hari Bol. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Please bless us so that we also can get taste for hearing and
Hari Hari.
demonstrating the Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, with that we'll make quick announcements and we'll stop. Madhubal Prabhu made a comment. Thanks, Maharaj, on practical advice of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in my early years. I heard Krishna book, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other books while traveling to work. There we go. Okay, we will conclude with quick announcement. Today evening we have Sunday feast program. Please join. Swami Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj will be here to our temple. As usual, 5:30 to 9. Then we have Kartik month is starting. That is from October 17th to November 13th. 1 minute.
It's a long banana here.
So, October 17th Thursday is Sharad Purnima and November 15th Friday is Rasa Purnima. So that is the Damodar Kartik month. If anybody would like to conduct programs at their home, Kirtan or any program, Damodar program, please contact one of us so that we can try to assist Prabhupada in this way. Then October 2nd Wednesday is eclipse is there. It's Amavasya, Pitru Paksha, as Simhasa Prabhu said earlier. So that's going on. October 2nd Wednesday in that way eclipse. So you can chant the holy names more than regular. And then Navratri starting October 3rd Thursday to October 12th Saturday. Dasara and Vijayadashmi on October 12th Saturday. So very auspicious day. Those are the quick announcements. If you like to order anything, food, cake or anything from Govindas, please contact us. govindasnj.com. You can place your orders or contact Madhupati Prabhu. Okay, with that, we'll conclude. Thank you very much for your association and time. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhaya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Antagoda Vaishnavandaki Jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hari Bol.
May you all take Srimad Bhagavat and read every day.